Okay, so get this. You sent in this excerpt about the ratha in Indian civilization.
Mm.
And honestly, my first thought was, chariot.
Yeah.
Like, how deep can this really go?
Right.
But I was so wrong. This thing is like a key to this whole other way of looking at ancient Indian thought.
Yeah, it's true. What's really interesting is how this idea of the ratha is like this window into how ancient Indians viewed, well, themselves, technology, even like the universe.
Oh, totally. It's funny because we think of chariots as, well, just chariots.
Right.
But the excerpt is saying that the way they went from like basic ox-drawn wagons to these amazing chariots of like gods and heroes,
Yeah.
that wasn't just about, getting a better ride.
It really wasn't. It gets at a much deeper mindset. The excerpt, and it really highlights how, for ancient Indians, technology, it wasn't separate from them. It was an extension of who they were.
Yeah, interesting.
So building a better chariot, it wasn't just, oh, this is more convenient. It was about making your mark on the world.
Okay, I think I'm starting to get it.
Yeah.
But how does this connect to the ratha being like a symbol for the mind? Because the excerpt, it gets pretty deep about that.
It does. So you have this really vivid image of like these unruly horses,
Okay.
and they're pulling the chariot in all these different directions. It's almost like a metaphor for, our own thoughts, our desires.
Right,
And
right.
those conflicting impulses we have inside.
Oh, totally. Like when you're trying to stick to your to-do list.
Exactly.
But like that new video game is calling your name.
Yes. It's that internal struggle.
Yeah.
And this is where things get really interesting. So the source is saying that this metaphor,
Okay.
it shows how important self-mastery was to Indian civilization.
Okay.
The ratha becomes this powerful way to understand how our minds work. That constant back and forth, trying to find control.
So instead of just letting those like wild horses run wild,
Exactly.
it's about learning to like be the charioteer of your own mind, steering yourself the right way.
Exactly. You got it. It's about taking all that energy
Yeah.
and focusing your intention, finding that inner balance.
Wow.
And you see this idea not just in like philosophical texts, but also in their mythology and stories too.
Oh, that's perfect actually, because the excerpt, it mentions the ratha popping up in all sorts of places, like the Ṛgveda and the Mahābhārata. Now, I don't want to assume everyone knows, but those are like major texts in Hinduism.
Absolutely. The Ṛgveda, it's this ancient collection of hymns and verses, and the Mahābhārata is this incredible epic poem. It's a cornerstone of Indian mythology for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
And what's fascinating is that the ratha, it doesn't always mean the exact same thing in both.
Well, interesting.
It can adapt.
It's funny you should say that because the excerpt actually used the term fractal maṇḍala.
Oh, right.
It's like the meaning sort of repeats at different levels, like a pattern.
Exactly.
So cool. So how does that play out in these examples? Like, what are some specific instances of this ratha as a symbol?
Well, let's look at Indra's chariot in the Ṛgveda.
Okay.
So he's the king of the gods, right? And his chariot is, well, it's this amazing display of power.
Right.
He commands the Maruts, who are basically storm gods. They're his superpowered steeds.
That's intense. Indra's got the ultimate ride, pulled by the forces of nature.
Right.
You can definitely see the link to self-mastery there, like he's in control of something most of us can't even imagine.
Exactly. It's such a powerful image, this idea of harnessing these incredible, like, untamed forces to achieve what you want.
Wow.
But then you look at the Mahābhārata,
Okay.
and you see a different side of the ratha
Oh,
through Arjuna's journey. Are you familiar with Arjuna?
oh yeah. He's one of the heroes of the Mahābhārata.
He is.
Isn't he caught up in that massive battle?
That's right. And his chariot now, he's guided by Krishna, who you could say is like his charioteer. It represents something deeper. The self's journey to enlightenment.
So it's not just physical journeys and chariots anymore. It's about this like inner journey we all go through.
Exactly.
Wow. I'm really starting to see why this whole ratha idea is such a big deal.
It is a big deal.
Yeah.
And just like Krishna guides Arjuna in the battle,
Yeah.
it suggests that maybe, we can all tap into some kind of higher power and divine wisdom,
Yeah.
to help us on our own journeys.
Like having a cosmic GPS for your life. I love that.
Right. It's like having that guidance system.
Right. But wouldn't everyone's journey be different? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
we're not all warriors like Arjuna.
Exactly. And that's what's so cool about the ratha as a metaphor,
Right.
It's not like a one-size-fits-all thing. It's more like the ratha, it gives you this framework
Right.
for understanding this inner journey we talked about, that quest for self-mastery.
Mm-hmm.
But the details,
Hmm.
the actual struggles you go through on your path, those are going to be different for everyone.
Right. So it's like
Uh-huh.
we all have our own chariots, our own roads to travel.
Precisely. Like, imagine this. Some of us are racing across a big open plain,
Okay.
and others are carefully, navigating through mountains.
Right.
The terrain is different, right?
Yeah.
But the goal is the same for everyone, to master the chariot, stay on the path, and reach enlightenment.
Wow. Okay. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And this whole idea of the ratha being like super important to Indian civilization, it really hit me when the excerpt said that the word Mahābhārata, which is where we get the name India.
Yeah. It's actually like connected to those who mastered the ratha.
It's incredible.
It's like this, well, at first it seems like just a simple object.
Right.
But it's woven into Indian civilization in such a deep way.
Both literally and metaphorically.
Right. It really shows how much this concept resonated with ancient Indians.
Absolutely.
So it's not just a chariot. It's like a symbol of the whole civilization. A symbol of like self-mastery and striving for enlightenment, understanding your own mind.
That's it.
And it's been passed down for like centuries. Wow.
It has. The ratha, it's like this vessel, right? For this very deep belief that humans have the power to overcome any challenge.
Right.
To strive for something bigger than themselves. It's about using everything inside of us, our intelligence, our willpower, to reach our goals.
Right. And it's not just about like personal enlightenment either. It's about using that self-mastery to help society as a whole.
It's like that saying, as within, so without. You get strong on the inside.
Yes.
And it goes out and impacts everyone around you.
Exactly. And we see this idea pop up throughout history. We're talking ancient texts, epic poems, even the name of a whole country.
Right.
It makes you wonder what other like hidden gems are out there to be found in Indian culture,
Totally. It's like we've just like scratched the surface.
Exactly.
This has been such a cool deep dive.
It has.
I feel like I went from chariots to like this whole new understanding of Indian civilization and what it means to be human.
That's amazing.
And it reminds me, the excerpt, it ended on this really interesting thought.
Yeah.
It said that from a single seed, a bija, a whole lotus can grow.
And it compared the ratha to one of these seeds, like a bija, that can help us understand Indian culture even better.
I love that.
What do you make of that?
I think it's a powerful image.
Yeah.
And it speaks to how rich and deep not just Indian civilization is, but like knowledge itself is,
Yes, totally.
The ratha, it's just one example. It's like
Okay.
a starting point into this giant tapestry of like traditions and wisdom and insights.
Right.
It reminds us that we can find these seeds of knowledge everywhere if we just open our eyes to them.
So you're saying there are other seeds out there?
Yes.
Other concepts, other symbols that can lead to like similar insights?
For sure.
Like it could be something we see every day.
Absolutely.
But we just need the right perspective to see how important it really is.
Mm.
Exactly. Think about the symbols you have in your own life.
Right.
Things that have like personal meaning.
Yeah.
What are some seeds you've encountered that have like changed how you see things?
That's such a good question. And it's the perfect challenge for our listeners too, right? So we shouldn't be afraid to like really dig into those little things,
Right.
those seeds of knowledge, because
Yeah.
they might lead to a way deeper understanding.
Well, it might.
Not just of Indian culture, but of like ourselves and the whole world.
It's all connected, right?
Yeah. It's about like being curious and wanting to learn more than just what's on the surface.
It is. It's about always digging deeper.
Exactly. And who knows what we might find.
Yeah,
This whole deep dive has been so cool.
it is.
I feel like I went from like thinking about chariots to like this whole new understanding of like Indian civilization, self-discovery,
It-
even just like how we understand everything around us.
It all comes back to that ratha, doesn't it?
It really does.
This simple chariot,
Yeah.
carrying so much meaning.
Yeah.
You know, it actually makes me think of something Joseph Campbell said once.
Oh, yeah.
He said, "The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek."
Wow.
The things we're scared to look at, those ideas we might just pass over,
Yeah.
those are the places where we often find like the most profound truths.
That is such a good quote, and it really sums up everything we've been talking about, right?
It does.
Like, if we're brave enough to go beyond just the surface level,
Yeah,
to really explore those seeds, we might be amazed by what we find. And
absolutely.
it's not just about the end result, right? It's about the journey, too.
It is. It is. Thinking about these ideas, questioning what we believe,
Right.
That's how we grow.
Absolutely. So, to everyone listening, think of the ratha as like inspiration.
Yes.
What seeds are you curious about? What seems simple in your life,
Right.
in your work, even just like walking down the street?
The world around us.
Exactly. What might have like hidden depths that are just waiting to be explored?
That's the best part about knowledge, right? There's always more to learn, more connections to make, more seeds to plant and watch grow.
This has been such a great deep dive. I feel like I've learned so much, and I hope our listeners have too.
Me too.
Thank you so much for guiding us through this. It's been amazing.
The pleasure was all mine. And to everyone listening, until next time, keep exploring.